You'll hear that, and when we end, you'll hear that it ended. That obviously is for anybody that couldn't join us this morning. That I think J. Scott Marketing team is bringing some valuable information to us this morning, yeah, we just want to welcome everybody. I know people from across Vermont are joining us, which is really exciting. We do have to give a big thank you to our sponsors for this event, the Vermont Association of Chamber of Commerce Executives, VACE. That many of you have probably gotten an email from your chamber director who has been encouraged to share this with you, because we think it's such a great relevant topic. Not only are we hopefully getting into spring and everybody's spring cleaning their house, but what a great time right before the major travel season kicks off to just tweak, learn a little bit more, figure out where you're ranking on sites. And Julia and Ashley, who have presented for us before, have done a great job just making everything kind of ground level so that you can dig right in. And part of our effort here at the Southwestern Vermont Chamber of Commerce has been to take the lunch and learn, take the coffee and conversation and make it a little bit deeper, really provide a workshop. And hopefully this may be one of our last digital workshops, so that we could really get into facilitating an in-person thing where you're really rolling up your sleeves for 2 hours, getting out of your business or your nonprofit and focusing on one subject matter and really, starting to tweak it. And that's what I think Julia and Ashley are going to bring to you this morning. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Julia and Ashley from J. Scott Marketing. Welcome.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Matt. And thanks to the Chamber and Vasi for having us today. And we're really excited to meet with you all. And we have some really fun activities. So grab a notepad and get ready to dive in and take some notes. We're going to have breakout rooms and we're going to cover a lot of material. So our goal today is for you to get 3 nuggets that you can immediately put into action to grow your business. Please ask any questions you have as we go. Don't feel like you have to save your questions for the very end. And before we get started, I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. So I'm Julia Scott, owner of J. Scott Marketing. We simplify the lives of small business owners and support the success of their business dreams by making marketing easy, which is possible. We are a digital marketing agency based in Vermont, and we have team members across the country, actually, including Ashley. So Ashley, would you like to take a minute and introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Ashley Woods, and I am the marketing manager at J. Scott Marketing. I started off marketing for music, moved on and got recruited to do marketing for Carey's Furniture. They have big box stores and small stores across New England. I then got recruited to work for a dental corporation and then left there to work for Julia and this team about a year ago and never looked back.
Awesome. I'm so glad that we're both here today, power teaming, and we'll work together to answer any questions you have. And if there's any question we're not exactly sure about, we'll just take your contact information and make sure we get the best information to you after the talk. So can everybody see my screen? Mm-hmm. Okay, awesome. So we are going to dive right in then. And let's just do a quick round of intros. So go ahead and say your name, your business, and what you plan to do once third winter in Vermont is over and spring actually arrives. So why don't we start with Sandy, you're at the top of my screen.
All right. So I'm Sandy Peplow. I work at Springfield Hospital. And I'm new to some of this. My supervisor has been doing marketing for 30 plus years, but I'm new to this. I'm going to probably do some non-mud hiking as soon as the mud goes away.
That's fantastic. And then let's go to Olivia and then Lori.
Hi, my name is Olivia Lyons. I am one of the newest members at the Chamber and Economic Development of the Rutland region. I just started the job about 3 weeks ago. So brand new to the marketing world. I had a previous job before in broadcast, but I'm actually learning how to snowboard right now. So spring snowboarding, that'll be cool.
That's so exciting. I'm a snowboarder too. It's awesome. Thank you, Olivia. So Lori, and then we'll go to John.
My name is Lori Hurley. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Lori Hurley, and I just started my own real estate brokerage, which is Four Corner Properties here in Bennington. I also am a beekeeper, so the spring means something different to me. I'm anxious for the snow to go away.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes. Thank you, Lori, and welcome. John, and then we'll go to Keith.
Hi, John Avery, Vermont Virtual Tours, or a commercial photography service specializing in 360 virtual tours. I'm just hoping for one more big dump so we can actually have some spring skiing.
There you go.
Awesome. Keith, and then Fawn.
Good morning. My name is Fawn Montaigne. I'm the owner of Fawn Montaigne Consultancy. I'm an organizational consultant specializing in nonprofits and small businesses. Currently, I'm working with the Wilson House here in East Dorset, and I also serve as a part-time executive director for a statewide, the first statewide Friends of Treatment Court organization called Vermont Roots and Wings Alliance. Very happy to be here, and as soon as the snow melts, I would like to take my Frenchies outside without them being tummy deep in mud.
Awesome. That's great, Fawn. Keith, we'd love to hear from you.
Hi, my name is Keith Carey. I own and operate the Gamers Grotto, volunteer at the Chamber, and a member of the BBC Board of Directors. Spring for me is just getting out and hiking and being not stuck inside for gaming winters kind of stuff. So
Awesome. Thank you, Keith. And Brenda, and then Mary, please.
Hi there. I'm Brenda Jones. I have KW Vermont. I'm a real estate broker here in Bennington. As well, I've been on the Chamber board, past president of the Chamber, and currently sit on the executive committee at the Chamber. Spring to me, it's kind of getting out and just enjoying the fresh air, because we do a heck of a lot inside all winter long.
Yeah, wonderful. I hear you, Brenda. Mary, and then Brooke.
Good morning. I'm Mary Skelton Altadonna in Stowe. I have two rental properties, Hobble Inn and the Loft at Hobble Inn. And my latest venture is my own maple. I create custom labels for maple syrup. This is one I did for the Round Hearth. Spring to me is getting my hands dirty. I just spent another, I don't know, several $100s on Rex.com and at Costco buying bulbs to start inside. We take care of, as I said, 3 gardens, so I have to get started.
Wow, I need some help starting my bulbs as well. Thank you, Mary. Now we'll have Brooke, and then I think there's one other person, but they don't have their name on their Zoom thing. But Brooke, it's all yours.
Hi, I'm Brooke Barwick. I work for Stowe Area Association doing membership and marketing. And for me, spring, I guess I echo everyone else and getting outside with my dog for sure.
Awesome. And then I see somebody with the name Manchester Sales B. Would you like to introduce yourself? Okay. And then I also see Berta has joined us recently. Berta, would you like to introduce yourself, your business?
Yes, sorry, I was late. Okay, Berta McGinnis, Executive Director of the Wilson House of East Dorset.
Wonderful. And what do you plan to do once spring actually arrives in Vermont?
Oh, be outside.
Matt, I think you
fresh air.
Your next workshop outside.
Yeah, we may be doing that. We have beautiful blue picnic tables and we love it.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you all for introducing yourself. And now that we're sort of familiar, let's go ahead and get started. So I'll pass it over to Ashley.
All right. So today we're covering, as you can see, a lot of fun things. We love structure, so we kind of just laid it out here for everybody to see. So we have 4 parts today. Our first part will be how to optimize your Google, Tripadvisor, and Facebook pages. We'll do a fun activity, and we'll also we also have the top 3 takeaways kind of from this section for you already there and laid out. We also are doing how to manage reviews, We'll have more activities and more takeaways, how to respond to positive reviews, more activities, takeaways, and how to respond to negative reviews in a way that you'll feel good about and that will advance your brand. So who's ready to dive in? I am.
So we're so delighted that you're here with us. And we want you to really get jazzed up for understanding just how much your response to reviews and how you manage them can grow or damage your business. So the first bullet point, more consumers are reading online reviews than ever before. And we're seeing an increase of this, perhaps because of the pandemic and all the time we're spending more and more online. So the second bullet point, the point we want to make is, are you responding to all of your reviews, or just some of them? We know it's not possible for everybody to respond to every single review, but we do want you to know what's at stake. And then the third bullet point, if you're not responding to any reviews, if you're completely just neglecting them, we'll say, we hope this is a wake-up call, because you are losing business if you're not responding to any of your reviews. And these statistics all come from brightlocal.com. So the core message and visuals of your business are really important to define. And that's not our work to today that we're going to tackle. But once you do identify how you talk about your business, how do you say that your chocolate shop is different than any other chocolate shop in town or in the state? And once you define these core visuals and core messages, and you really understand how you talk to your audience, you want to use these over and over and over again. Sometimes they even get to feel really boring, but for your customers, they're often brand new. So if you can rattle off why I should come to your shop instead of the one down the street, the good news is that optimizing your Google, your Tripadvisor, and your Facebook page, and we're throwing in Bing, is going to amplify those powerful core messages and visuals that you've created. So that's right. When you optimize your Google, your Bing, your Tripadvisor, and your Facebook pages, your visibility on the internet is going to increase dramatically. If you haven't already invested resources in developing these core messages and visuals, then we suggest you do that before you fully optimize your pages. You want to put your best foot forward. It's like why you get all dolled up before you get your headshots, right? Because that headshot is going to be all over the place. And you want to project those consistent messages across cyberspace. So let's start with the basics of how to optimize your Google, Tripadvisor, and Facebook pages. And as I said, as a bonus, these tips also apply to your Bing profile, and we'll just mention Bing a little bit more later. And during our talk, we're also going to refer to these pages as profiles or as listings. So we're using those interchangeably. All right, so just to make it fun, because I'm secretly an extremely competitive person, we're going to share 6 steps to optimize your page, and I want you to score yourself. So give yourself 1 point for each of these steps that you have completed. And then we'll check in as a group later after and see how many points we've got. So 1 point for each of these things that you've done.
All right, so this may seem really obvious, but keep your profiles and pages up to date. This will help increase your visibility by ensuring that your business profile is accurate and complete. It may seem easier said than done, but do your hours change? Do your menu or products change? Do you need to emphasize a certain service that's tied to a season? Updating your profile means that your customers are going to have the most accurate information and that you've correctly set their expectations. And we're definitely recommending that at the minimum, a quarterly task to kind of go over your profiles, review everything, update them, make sure they're looking good, will really help you to stay on top of that. And then next is to fill it out completely. Gone are the days of just looking up the phone number and address of a business. You really want to make sure you're filling out your profile completely. The business will be easier to match with people who are searching for you because the most accurate information will be there. And your profile should definitely be updated as changes happen within your business. And you want this to be a useful tool for your customers. Will you be open despite the windstorm or the pending snowstorm? Do you sell Easter goodies? Are you already sold out? Do you have an hour left to make your order? Is the band warming up? And you know some bands are kind of on the fence to show up. So definitely give them that extra incentive by making sure that all the information is filled out completely. And here, include quality photos and videos when applicable. Not just the ones that your cousins are showing on their Facebook and Instagram page. If you're able to, use pro photos and then optimize them when applicable. An optimization is essentially renaming your photo to describe what that photo is, that you own the photo. And this helps people find you in search because that photo is now attached to your business. It doesn't just say IMG number 123. It'll say Ashley and Julia's cake shop, Burlington, Vermont. So that's something to think about too. If you're able, again, add and use professional photo and video. And believe it or not, they are a direct reflection of your business. If you're using poor quality photos, it can definitely send the message that your business is unprofessional or maybe a little bit out of date. So those visuals may help people steer clear of your business because they might assume that your business is the same way. And so that said, we have a lot of clients that ask us how you can take better photos. And the good thing is we wrote an awesome blog post about it, which we will be sharing in the chat.
I'll paste that in there, Ashley.
Sure. Any questions so far?
We just pasted that link because we do, as Ashley said, get so many questions about how to take great photos for social media, because we know that the professional photography budget sometimes is out of reach, or you just want to have more photos than you can hire a professional for. And this includes for video too. So there are some really easy, accessible tips so you can take better photos. I'm a terrible photographer and now I take like decent photos because of these tips. So check that blog post out and it will help you and your team take better photos, but absolutely budget for professional photos and video.
Yes.
And the next step that you're going to give yourself a point for is verifying your page. So when applicable, you want to make sure that you go through that process. It can be kind of a pain because sometimes they have to send you a code and then you have to enter in the code and the code can get lost. But verified businesses are more likely to show up in search. And that creates trust with users, because not only does Google or the other search engine, the other platform know that you're verified, there's usually a message on the page, this business has been verified. So the people who own this business have claimed this profile, so the information is accurate. So it just builds more trust.
Hey, Julia, do you mind sharing your screen again?
Oh dear, thank you for letting me know.
No worries.
Sorry about that. I was looking for that blog post and forgot we'd already had the URL.
No worries.
The next step is obtaining real reviews. So not just the ones from your family and tight friends. You really want to obtain real reviews from actual customers, and you want to get those consistently. We often tell people this and they're like, oh yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit more about how to actually get reviews. So, and I think we talk about this later in the presentation too, but the quality and obviously positive reviews will increase your visibility, and having new reviews come in consistently, not just 30 in 1 week and then none for 6 months. So the fact that you are consistently getting your reviews coming in does boost your visibility in these ranking platforms. And definitely look at how many reviews your competitors have. Look at your 3 to 10 of your competitors in your area and see how many reviews have. And you need to aim to have more reviews than them, because that is a ranking factor. You can rank above a business even if they have more reviews, but that's usually because you're getting higher quality reviews. And we want to plug a former client, Loyalty Loop. They offer a service, I think it's like $100 a month. So it's a pretty low monthly fee. And they do the work of soliciting the reviews from customers and helping the customers even write it and then making it super easy for them to just click publish. So Loyalty Loop is just like it sounds, loyaltyloop.com is one of the services that you can use to get more reviews and get positive reviews. And part of their service is that if the person seems to be giving you a bad review, they don't ask to publish it. So that's just one of the ways that you can get more reviews. And I'm pretty sure we'll talk more about that later on. The other thing that's super important is responding and engaging with users. So the fact that you take the time to respond shows that you value what your customer is saying and you really are hearing their experience. And this can increase the chance of a new customer choosing you over a competitor. Customers absolutely want to be heard. That's why they're leaving the review, right? They're wanting to share this awesome or really terrible experience they had, but they also want to give that feedback to you and your team. And new customers really want to know that you care about people who are the current customers. And the thinking is, if this business is taking care of their current customers, they're going to take care of me too. All right, so how many points did you score? So everybody please unmute yourself and turn on your video. And did everybody get at least 1 point?
Nope.
Oh dear. All
I'm
right.
glad I'm new.
You've got your work cut out for you. How did other people do?
Just one.
1 point. Did anybody get 2 points?
Mhm.
Yeah. Did anybody get 3 points?
Yes.
4 points?
Yes.
5. Oh, Brooke, you got 5 points. Did anybody? What's that?
I would say like 4.5.
You're a 4.5. Okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Be gentle with yourself. Give yourself partial credit. Did anybody get 6 points?
I got 5.5.
5.5. Okay, John Avery, you're the winner. Your prize is fame and glory and a lot of new customers. So congratulations. All right. I will turn it over to Ashley for this one.
Okay, so now that we've given you some overall tips, let's dive in a little bit deeper with some tips and tricks that are geared towards each specific platform. We're adding Bing into the mix because not many people pay attention to their Bing, so it'll be a great way to stand out. So first, treat these listings like a mini website. As we said earlier, it's not just a typical yellow pages or white pages listing anymore. These are great platforms now because they have so many things that you can do to make your business stand out and so much information to share with your potential customers. You can now add services on Google, offers. You can add business attributes such as accessible wheelchair entrances, health and safety measures that are being taken right now, which is super important given the state of the health of the world. You can add things like if there are restroom amenities, if those amenities are accessible. You can post updates, you can add photos, videos, obtain your call history, which is a little bit of a newer thing on there, but it can be super helpful. And next, we'll have some examples of how to some businesses that have polished reviews, and we'll be able to show them to you and kind of break these down of what's making it a good listing. Do you have any questions before we move on? All right, so sometimes looking at an example is a quick and easy way to really learn. So in this activity, we want you to look at what's really standing out about these listings. And we're going to put you guys into groups of 2, which Julia will be doing any moment.
Yeah, and just to tag team there, Ashley, so we've pasted into the chat the Google listings that each group is being assigned to. So if you're in group 1, we want you to look at Sam Mazza's Farm Market, and group 2 is going to take Tom Girl Kitchen, group 3, the Brass Lantern Inn in Stowe, and group 4 is going to be the Hey June Stationery Shop and Letterpress Studio. So might be helpful to click on these links. We're going to put you into breakout rooms automatically. And I don't know if you'll have access to this particular chat before you go to the breakout room. So we'll still have this it'll be in the chat. Yeah. Oops, I think we went ahead. Okay.
And I think, Julia, you can also message groups and breakout too, I think. So you could repost into a breakout room message. You can message them.
Okay, we'll do that. Okay, thanks, Matt. So we're going to open the breakout rooms. You'll have about 5 minutes. So again, your work as a group to look at this, these Google pages and notice what is really standing out. What are these listings doing really well? Okay, any questions before we unleash the breakout rooms?
Excuse me, Julia, I just clicked on link number 3 and I'm getting an invalid link. I just didn't know if anybody else was.
Okay, Ashley, can you check on that? And meanwhile, we'll start the breakout rooms and make sure you guys have the information you need for the links. Any other questions? Okay. I don't think that worked. It says breakout rooms in progress. Oh, it was supposed to automatically assign. Okay. I'm assigning you all to the rooms. Hopefully next time this won't be quite so clunky. Ashley, are you able to post the links to the right groups? Okay, thank you.
It's looking like I can do a message to everybody, so.
Yeah, that's what I've seen in the past. So just message people.
Okay.
What I don't know is if they know the group they're in. So
I just moved them to the room. So you should get a message prompt up that says, hey, Julie is inviting you to join this room. So click join. Not sure. There's a couple of people who still haven't joined who are still with us, but it looks like, okay, I think everybody is. Manchester Sales B, is that Matt, one of you or Erica's profiles?
No.
Oh, okay.
What you may have to do also is, so you have social butterfly. I don't know if they know their group 1. They know their social butterfly group, maybe. So you may want to just put, like, if we named them, you could do social butterfly group 1.
My goodness. Sorry.
No, that's fine. This is.
I got it.
I don't know. I don't see an option to rename the rooms now that we've named them.
It's fine. I'm just gonna send it over with the group name.
And you could also, yeah, instead of calling it group 1, you could call it social butterfly is going to handle Matza.
Okay.
Review Ringmaster is going to do Tom Girl. You can do that too.
Yeah, I'm on top of it, Julia. Don't.
Someday we'll all be in person and all this crap,
Although I have to say, we wouldn't be able to do this if we were in person. I mean, I guess you could say one person pull out their phone and, but typically group work is not on screens.
I want to make sure, I know we still have Manchester Sales B here. Can you just unmute or speak up if you can, or talk in the chat? And if I don't hear from you, I'm going to pull you out of the meeting. I will also try and message you on chat. We'll do everything we can before, but
okay. Whew.
Manchester Sales B. Might be a phone call. Somebody doesn't have audio, but if I don't hear from you.
I do know that Anne messaged me, Anne Fletcher she said, FYI, both Anns are me, have to listen to audio through my phone. So
And sometimes when they're in group, they can't respond back. I've run into that before. So like their phone is stuck here, but Anne went somewhere else.
Yeah. Okay. It might be her. It might just be.
Okay.
I don't know. Ashley, I'm realizing that for all of our activities, we refer to them as group 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I'm going through them right now. There's not too many. Hold on. Activity 1.
Now, I'm noticing a lot of people have their video turned off. I invited people already to turn their video on. When we bring people back, I'm going to ask them again so that we can stay engaged and that they're going to learn more. Are you okay if I put a little pressure on them in that way, or that feels okay? All right. We have about a minute left.
And I think anybody here can pop into groups. So maybe next time we want to pop into a group, I mean, you can pop in and pop out.
Yeah.
And make sure they are okay too. But you can also kind of be a fly on the wall and listen.
Yeah, the groups can be tricky. Hopefully the other group activities will be a lot smoother. I swear I clicked the automatically assign. I don't know why it's making me assign, because we probably lost a minute doing that. Yeah, Manchester Sales B did not join the group I assigned them to, so they seem to be AWOL.
Yeah, and they may, if they're in their group, but this is still outside the group, they still may be able to hear us, just so y'all know.
That's true.
So when everybody comes back, let's just do a process check on, put your video on. If you don't have it on, process check on who Manchester Sales B is. And if nobody types up, I'm kicking them out of the.
Okay, yeah, that sounds fine. And thankfully we did put both Anns in the same room, which is a stroke of luck. I imagine it would be hard for her to be video in one and audio in the other. Like
We've had it happen. Yep, it's weird.
Yeah, I'll have to remember to do that next time. Okay, our timer's done, so we're going to close the rooms, which I think gives them a 1-minute warning. Yeah, but that's fine because of all the scrambling to get in. I think that's okay.
So I'll do the process check, Julia, and then if you just want to hit it home, you can do that too.
Sounds great. Welcome back, Fawn.
I don't think I meant to leave so soon, but it went faster than we thought.
Yeah, it does. It does go by quickly. Yeah, welcome back, everybody. If you folks are still joining us. The Google Galore room is having a really great discussion, and so is Social Butterfly.
We'll do a quick process check in 15 seconds, just to check in with people. We have a couple questions and making sure the breakout room, actually worked as well. So when we have everybody hop back in, I'll do a quick process check. That's okay, Julia.
Yeah, I think we are all back, Matt.
Okay, great. So 2 things, just process check. One, we're going to encourage everybody again to turn their video on. It's already a tough workshop to do virtually, but as much as you can turn your video on, that's going to keep you engaged. I mean, you paid the dollar amount for this, so we want to give you all that you paid for and more. So try and keep your video on, keep off of email, and really focus for the next hour and a half on what you came here to do. And second one that I had, and then Julia, I'll pass it to you if you had any other process checks. You may want to see how it went in the breakout rooms. But is anybody associated with Manchester Sales B? The person that didn't go into a breakout room. Sometimes if you're on a phone, it won't send you to a breakout room, and you may be in the breakout room. But did anybody and not hearing anything? I'm going to assume no. Yes.
Actually, I was in a breakout room with Anne. I think that extra one might be Anne because she has to have 2, one for video and one for sound.
Okay, so let's assume that that is Anne. That's kind of what Julia, Ashley, and I thought. So we'll keep that going, and she may or may not be able to participate in group work with that, but we'll check in. Julia, back over to you.
Okay, thanks, Matt. So Social Butterfly, we believe you looked at the Sam Matza Farm Market. Is that right? Okay. And who from that group would like to feel brave and speak up about what you guys noticed about that Google page? What were the things that really stood out about the Sam Matza Farm Market? Let's see, it's Brenda or Berta?
I was on, this is Susan from Apricot Lane. I was on with Brenda and Berta.
Great.
And we actually looked at the stationery shop.
We looked at the wrong thing.
Thanks for hanging with us. We're just realizing we named them by numbers, but then we named them the groups with these fun little alliterative names. So, okay, so group one, you said your name was Susan?
Yes.
Okay, so you looked at the Hey June stationery. So what stood out about that Google page?
Well, one of the things that we noticed that could possibly be a little bit better was the initial picture you see when their page comes up is it doesn't really show the logo of their store. It's kind of off to the side. Otherwise, most things were really good. I mean, any of the reviews they had, there was only one that they didn't have a comment or engage with. They showed what they were about as far as how inclusive they were. Their address, they had good photos. The photos of the inside of the shop were great. It was just from the outside on your initial look, you couldn't really tell. The phone number was there, the address was there, the store hours were there.
Awesome. So it sounds like they nailed down the basics and had great interior photography, but the exterior photography was a little bit off-putting.
Yeah, it wasn't engaging.
Okay. Awesome.
Some of the interior photos could have been the exterior photo to make it more attractive.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing those thoughts. And let's go to the group who looked at the Brass Lantern Inn Google page.
Julia, is it possible to show the website to the rest of us that weren't in that group?
Oh, that's a good idea. I think in the interest of time, we'll try to bring these up. So we can look at this while somebody speaks about the Brass Lantern Inn. Was that you, Mary?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, yeah. So tell us what you liked about the Brass Lantern Inn Google page.
I wasn't in that group, but the owners are good friends of mine, so I should.
Oh, well,
I do love their website. I actually did bottles of syrup for them. I think the lighting on their homepage is just fabulous.
Yes, and let's actually give the group who looked at this page a chance to speak. But thank you for chiming in there, Mary. So who looked at the Brass Lantern Inn? You guys are a little bit shy today. We're all friendly. We're not going to bite. We'd love to hear from you.
That Brooke and Emily, Olivia, is that group?
So Julia, I don't know how others' experience were, but we didn't know what group we were in and we didn't know how it was correlated. So we just chose to go with a website that opened and we all just kind of winged.
That's what we did too. We picked Tom Girl.
Okay.
Okay. I apologize for this. We're usually much more organized, but all right. Who would like to speak about the Tom Girl page?
So that was our group. So initial thoughts were cute header photo, but I think they had some other options that might do the brand a little bit more justice, including kind of showcasing the front of the store and their branding and logo. Their reviews are good, lots of reviews, lots of good reviews. a few bad, all of which seem to be responded to pretty quickly after posting. I think they could use a little bit more information about the store itself, but otherwise, you know, I think they have most of what they need. And then, like I said, really lots of beautifully branded photos in their listing, which is really nice. And then great information in their about section.
Yeah, those are all great things to notice. Thank you for sharing that. Did anybody?
Our group also did Tom Girl Cafe.
Okay. Yeah, go for it.
So yeah, we had the same kind of thoughts about the photo where you can see a reflection of the cars and the person taking the photo, but it doesn't really show what the business looks like. So if someone was looking at it to try to find it, that wouldn't help them very much. I liked that there's an order online button that was really easy to find and takes you to the site that you need to order online.
Okay, great. Awesome. Thanks for taking a look at Tom Girl. And did anybody look at, let's see, Sam Matza? Did anybody look at this one? Ashley, would you like to chime in and just share? I know this was one of our favorite ones when we were looking at the listings.
Yeah. So the first thing we noticed were the amount of reviews they have. So many reviews. And then we clicked on the reviews and we saw that, again, they were all positive. They did need a little bit of work responding to some of these newer reviews and just reviews in general. So that would be definitely something that if we were to chat with them and kind of help them out, we would mention. But they have beautiful photos of the inside as well as outside during their peak seasons. And then we also liked how they had a super descriptive page with all their attributes, their service options. It was pretty well thought out. And then, yeah, just overall, it's really nice. We would just have them be more active with replying to their reviews.
Awesome. Great. All right. Thank you guys for hanging with us. I think the future activities are much better organized. So we're on it, and we'll bring you more clarity about what group you're in and exactly what we're assigning you to do. So in the meantime, let's move on to the Tripadvisor profile. So the mindset when you're updating your Tripadvisor profile is that people are using it because they're traveling and they're exploring. So they're probably not local. So we really want you to tailor your profile to complement that target audience by talking about the fun touristy things, whether it's an experience or the ambiance, ties you have to the location, gifts, etc. Get in the mindset of people don't know the geography, they don't know the layout, they don't know the vibe of the town. So we're gonna welcome them to our business, but to the whole place that they're visiting. A tip could be if you have really great staff and they are living local and they're able to give recommendations, maybe remind your customers that your staff has the best recommendations for what to do and where to shop and where to stay when they're in town. So, ask our service, we'll fill you in. So that's an extra way you can welcome and amplify your Tripadvisor profile. It's interesting that so many people mentioned photos when we talked about the Google listing. So same thing here. Travelers want to get their information quickly by taking a look at the photos. So you need really sharp photos that instantly show the product or your space, whatever your offering is, a product or service. So the extra tip here is not that many people add captions, but a lot of us, depending on what screen we're on, what size, it may not be obvious what we're looking at. So go the extra mile to capture the hearts and minds of your customers and create crafty, short, but descriptive captions. So an example is, say you own a shop that sells handcrafted mugs and you have an image of a mug, not just with a blank white background or, kind of a busy background where you're really distracted and like, I think they're selling the mug, but maybe they're selling those pens in the background. So say you took this beautiful mug and you put it on a table that's overlooking a lake, and your caption is, grab your favorite mug, sit back, and take in the views one sip at a time. So you're really going that extra mile to place your customer or your client, your patron, in a situation or experience that just is like, yes, take me there, Calgon, take me away, right? You're not just saying we sell mugs. So you can go the extra mile through the captions, by staging really great photos that you're going to get a lot of mileage out of, and then putting it all together on your Tripadvisor profile in the mindset of these are tourists. Amazing experiences is really what drive people to write a positive review. Of course, being unhappy can do the same and result in a negative review. So it's really about setting expectations and thinking, could we somehow make our experience with our business just that much better, that much more Instagram worthy? So according to a Tripadvisor survey, guests are 77% more likely to book when they notice the owners are responding to reviews. So again, that we're going to drill this into you several times during our time together. Make time to respond to reviews. We'll give you some structure for how to make that possible. So a steady stream of positive reviews is going to help get you in front of potential customers. It'll boost you up in the rankings. Oftentimes when you're on Tripadvisor, you'll see things like top 10 inns in this town or top 10 restaurants. So there's a lot of these top 10 and you want to crack into that top 10. It's really going to increase the number of people who are clicking onto your Tripadvisor profile. So how do you begin creating a steady stream of reviews? How do you actually get more reviews? Everybody wants more reviews, right? So there's a couple different ways that we have coached our clients to increase their reviews. And there's a lot more than we're going to talk about today, but a couple of them are, if you have staff, train your staff to close the experience or the meal or the stay by saying, if you loved your stay with us, help other travelers find us by leaving a Google review. And if you had a bad experience, tell your enemies. Or a lot of times people will say, email us directly. You may have gotten this kind of language in a product you buy. If you had a bad experience, please reach out to us directly so that we can try to make it better. If you had a great experience, here's our link. Another thing you can do to increase your reviews is ask your customer or client how their experience was before they leave your place of business. We have an amazing client who is an expert at making it right, but she can't do that unless her team asks, how is your experience? And a lot of times people hide it. So if you ask, then you have a chance, and then you could possibly ask for a review. Another idea, ask happy customers if they'd like to leave a review, hand them your business iPad before they walk out the door, make it super easy for them. They're still on that high of that great meal or that great experience they had at your inn or your business. So you can leave that as an option. You can also put a slip of paper with a QR code to bring up a review page. So when folks take home their receipt or are waiting to pay their bill, they have a moment of free time, they could leave a review then. And depending on your CRM or your POS, the different systems you're using, you could send a text or an email as part of your follow-up to that experience. You could also ask for reviews in email campaigns, and there's lots of different ways. So we talked about keeping your information up to date and accurate, and just like every little detail should be accurate. And that's why we recommend those quarterly tasks to make sure, because in your mind, things have changed and everybody knows about it. But if you don't go back and double check, cross-reference the Tripadvisor profile, it may be out of date, and it may still have like the Sam Matza thing had their Halloween photo up top. Like, wow, they haven't updated that in like about 6 months. They should really have Easter photos and gardens coming up, right? So any questions before we move on from Tripadvisor? Okay.
All right. So now we'll move on to how to optimize your business or your Facebook business page or profile. First, your profile should be your logo. There are a few exceptions, which we'll talk about in a minute, but definitely your profile should be your logo. This creates brand awareness and recognition, and it also helps the customers build trust with your business. Next, again, it helps identify your brand from your competitors in the industry so that you stand out. It looks organized and professional, so your business feels legit as it is. Again, building more of that trust with your customers. So some industries that you may not want to use your logo as your profile photo may be if you are the brand yourself. Meaning, are you an influencer? Are you a musician, a realtor? Are you a lawyer in the legal industry? What a lot of these have in common is that these things offer kind of an experience, right? So you're paid as a musician to entertain people. You are the brand. You are a realtor, and you are creating these really trusting relationships with people who are about to make some of the biggest investments in their life. And you're the face of the brand, and you're the one in all the videos online that's showing all these fun house tours. So things like that might be a great situation where you would want your face to be kind of the brand and the logo. Next is to customize your URL. There are lots of people that just forget or don't know that they can do this. So this will make it very easy for people to find you as well as identify you, so that you'll get more followers and visibility that way. Also, customize URLs, just make it easy for people to kind of shout you out online. It looks organized, professional, finished, complete, cohesive. Again, building that trust across all platforms. And that way people know that you're really going to take care of them. And we actually are going to provide a link for you for how to customize your URL on your Facebook business page. Next, templates. Choose the best template for your business. Did you know that you can actually change your template for your Facebook business page? You can find this by going to your business page's settings and then head to the templates and tabs section. So why is this important? Picking the right template for your business can help encourage more of a positive user experience and point them to the experience that you want them to have. So again, setting yourself up for that positive review. Some pre-made templates can include templates for service businesses, your typical business, video, restaurants, shopping, just to name a few. And then we're going to move on to the next. Perfect. So this is an example of a standard template for a business page. Some of the tabs, so right under there where it says home, about, photos, events, more, and then the drop down, those are called tabs. And some of them that you can choose from are videos, photos, about, community, offers, jobs, events, services, shops, groups, lives, reviews, guides, all the fun things. This one is super, super customizable. And it's a great place to start if you don't really know where to start. Again, this can help any business where your business may not be a one-size-fits-all business. So even though this business here is a donut company, and you're like, oh, they should have chose the restaurant template. They do other things outside of their business, like events. They do pop-up events. So as you can see there, they have a little event tab. They also offer services like donut walls and donuts and favors for weddings and other events. So that's a great example of why they would choose this type of template over another. Moving on to the next template. This is an example of a video template. This is good for creators, media, news outlets, people that are super, super heavy and reliant on their video content. Some of the tabs include home, live, videos, groups, events, shop, about, community, and photos. If you have an active YouTube page for your business, this might be kind of the mirror image, but the Facebook version for you. These are super limited because they are very video based when it comes to all the options, but This one is special because it will let you spotlight a video or a section of videos. And again, helping with that user experience. This is us, J. Scott Marketing, and it's an example of a service business. Here you can see they have the option to choose home, about, photos, shop, events, videos, and community. And notice here the order of the tabs when we choose this type of template. The services template is sitting right next to that home template there, because those are super, super important when it comes to service businesses. So some service businesses can include ones like us, marketing agencies, salons, photographers, consultors, and so on and so forth. And then this is an example of our restaurants and cafe templates. So again, you may want to use this if you own a restaurant, cafe, coffee house, bakery, food trucks. You can see here, it's heavy on the reviews and the menus. And in this template, it's super important because it's the only template that allows you to have a menu tab. And this menu tab isn't anything special. You just upload specific photos for your menu, but again, makes it super easy for that user experience to find your menu and see what they're looking for. So essentially, the difference between these templates is kind of where everything is laid out for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ashley. So transitioning to our second activity. So we're going to ask you to head to your main business listing. If you have multiple businesses, go to the one that is, most important to you, or the one that you're really focusing on now. And we want you to look at, is your listing optimized compared to the other ones we've looked at, and the things that we're talking about that we want you to do with your listing and what you can potentially do. And we also want you to make a list of the ways that you could optimize your listing. So if you're looking at reviews, if you have time to go through between more than one of your listings, so like your Google, your Facebook, your Tripadvisor, give yourself bonus points if you notice consistencies between the pages. So ideally, your address, phone number, email, those are all 100% accurate and the same across your listings. And your image, the treatment of your images and your logo are consistent, while the formats will be different. We want that message to be really the same from site to site. And we also want you to use the color palette the same way from site to site. So the colors associated with your brand. And here's why. So when you optimize these pages, you're being intentional about how you project your brand, how essentially you talk about your brand in cyberspace. So we want to make sure you're being intentional about the visuals and putting that best foot forward that we talked about earlier, so that you're making an excellent first impression. All right, so we'll give you about 5 minutes. We're not going to use breakout rooms this time. Just work on your own business listing. All right, and we'll call you back when it's time.
Yeah, even think about how you named your business on all these pages. Is one all capital letters and one is just lowercase letters? Are there spaces that are the same that are used throughout your name, your business name? Think about all those things.
Yeah, that's a great point. We had a client that when we started working with them, we counted 5 different ways they named their business. Like, no joke. Like, what is the actual name of the business? Why is this different?
Mm-hmm.
So I think, Julia, at this point, if people want to turn their video off and work, I know sometimes it's weird when they're screen sharing and then your video's on and you're also trying to look at your Facebook page. So I don't know, the time limit, you said 5 minutes maybe, Julia, for them to do this? Oh, you're on mute.
Yes, 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay. Yeah, so feel free to, but we will call you back, and we do expect you to turn your video back on. But I want you to spend some offline time for a minute.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah.
All right, so your time is up. We hope you noticed some interesting things about your pages, and we're going to give you a little bit of homework. So please spend 1 hour updating and improving one or more of your business listings, and then sit back and enjoy all the traffic that you're getting and the visibility. All right, so we invite you to come back, turn on your video, really engage with us. We have about an hour left, and the more you're engaged, the more you're going to learn. All right, so Ashley, I believe this is on to you.
Sure. So, let's see here. So 3. Perfect. So our 3 key takeaways to share with you for optimizing your Google, Bing, Tripadvisor, and Facebook pages. Number 1, keep those profiles and pages up to date. By doing that, you are also preventing those negative reviews. Those people show up and say, well, you were open at 9 and I showed up at 9. I drove 2 hours to get here. That can prevent those negative reviews like that. Filling it out completely so people know what to expect from your business, and also provide them information and to help you with search. And then asking for and responding to those reviews and those users, creating those relationships and showing that you care. All right, so now that you have a taste of how to optimize those pages, let's begin diving in how to manage them.
So first, let's just touch upon why, again, you should be managing your reviews so we all feel really pumped about this time we're investing in our businesses. So reviews, both bad and good, are really valuable pieces of feedback that can shape how your business moves forward. Maybe somebody was just having a really bad day and they're cranky and you guys were awesome. Or maybe occasionally there's times to say, actually, maybe we're not setting ourselves up for the expectations. We're somehow misshaping the expectations that customers are coming in for. And what can we do to be more accurate about setting those expectations? So don't look at your reviews as personal attacks or praises for your business, but as a learning tool for improving profitability and customer satisfaction. So one of the perks of having a marketing partner is you can call someone and vent to them. One of our clients owns a restaurant, and restaurants have had a really hard time, especially during the pandemic. People are cranky and they're short-staffed. And so our client Joe calls us, and sometimes we just listen and reflect back on how hard her job is because they are receiving some really undeserved reviews. So customers really trust reviews. 91% of consumers trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations. Wow. 86% of consumers read reviews for local businesses. 89% of consumers read local businesses' responses to reviews. So more people are reading your responses than they're reading the reviews, which is powerful. Negative reviews can stop 40% of consumers from wanting to use a business. By responding to those negative reviews, you can open that door to doing business with that person again. So responding to them or not responding does significantly change how those reviews are impacting your brand.
And now how to manage reviews. Carve out time to respond to them. So this may depend upon the amount and the volume of reviews you receive. If you're receiving just a few reviews each week or month, checking in weekly is recommended, and responding about 2 to 3 times a week minimum. Delegating this to an employee as a specific trained task is appropriate, especially if you, the owner, struggle to kind of carve out that time. We had a speaking engagement the other day, and someone hired said person for the specific job, but also part of her job was to include social media and managing that. So kind of thinking ahead and getting creative there if you're able. So whether you or your employee are responding, block out that time in your calendar. Otherwise, when is it going to get done? It's probably not going to be, because just leaving it for the morning and leaving it for the afternoon may not be the best decision. but making sure you have that time in there will help you be accountable for getting it done. Next, generating reviews by asking them or setting up some type of automated email campaign in your CRM. So the heavier the ask, the closer and more often you should be monitoring. So if you're asking a lot, you should be monitoring and checking in and answering more. So where to ask for these reviews here. So you can ask for them again when they're in the chair. If you do text marketing, if you're setting up, if somebody comes in for a service, setting it up for 2 days after the service automatically. So fun things like that. If you are a DJ, asking for them to be sent to Google, Facebook, places like Thumbtack or Gig Salad. So think about where you need those reviews to be sent as well and where people are finding you. Are there any major changes due to COVID? Temperature shutdowns because it's cold, cleaning, there's a winter snooze. You guys are going through updates and upgrades. So these things typically will involve a bit of a learning curve. And sometimes the customer is on the other end of that there. And that'll affect the type of review that they give. So making sure you set them up to know what to expect. Again, keeping those profiles updated.
Ashley, looks like somebody has their hand up. Fawn, if you still have a question for Ashley or Julia.
I do. Thank you very much. And let me just put my hand down now. When you're speaking specifically about soliciting reviews, I always kind of have it mixed in my mind that if you're asking for them, perhaps you need them. And that's also a reflection to the people that you're asking. So could you perhaps say more about, I shy away from like going out on Facebook on my consultancy page and saying, hey, have you worked with me? Leave me a review, because I have a small clientele. With a larger entity, it would be relevant to put it out on a social media, more broadly. Could you kind of speak to that spectrum and how to gauge how to get a best return and not do harm?
Sure. So something like that it might be something that you want to email that client, individually and say, hey, we've worked on this project together. We really enjoyed working with you and seeing these results. If you're happy with your results, do you mind sharing, in your experience, do you mind sharing a review on Google so that other businesses like yours are able to kind of benefit from our services as well? So just really pointing it out there and showing them that you care about them and that you value your relationship as well as the results. I think just making it more of a personal thing would work for somebody like you.
That's great. My second question on this note, because you did ask for interaction, so now I have questions, is it worth, and when is it worth, I guess, is a more accurate question about when is it worthy of incentivizing reviews?
And do you mean monetarily? What do you,
I'm a big barterer, I love a free massage. I'm happy to give somebody social media services for a month, for some services. But at what point is it worthy of incentivizing? Either if you leave a review that will discount 5% off if you book within the next X number of days. Berta has a hospitality industry. So when I think of the Wilson House, somebody that comes in to do a retreat or a larger event, we would want to see an immediate review. We would want to see a lot of photos. We would actually, my hope is to kind of build a guide about what we want to see in the review and kind of leave it with them as we're planning the event so we can, be more planful rather than reactive. It's work on the part of the person that's leaving the review. Mm-hmm. Therefore, do you build it into the package? Do you incentivize it in some way? What's the best strategy to employ to get the quality review and not just be busy on social media? Like the bottom line is revenue.
Ashley, do you mind if I chime in a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. So Fawn, these are awesome questions. Thank you so much for raising your hand and asking them. And if other people have a question, we want to hear it too. So one thing that you can do, Fawn, because getting a review is you're asking for your customer to do some work for you. So, mindset, we just want to address that. Like, your business has something unique and special to offer to the world. And it's okay that other people will find it. And it's okay to ask your customers that, hey, leaving us a positive review will really help other people have another great experience just like you did. So one thing that you can make it a little bit easier for your customers is by listening to what they're saying about your business when they check in, or when they're on their tour, or during their meal. It works a little bit better if you're a service-based business. So one thing that we do is we'll take notes during our meetings, and we'll ask a client, hey, we heard you say these things during our meeting. Would you consider leaving a review? So you can do a little bit of the work saying, reaching out, we heard you say these things. We've put them below, like, your words explain it so much better than we do, or, something like that. Would you consider helping us by leaving the review? So you can do a little bit of the work that way. There's also a trick where you can find the exact link for your Google business profile and send it to them so that they don't have to even click on the review button. And we'll share that in a minute when we sort of collect our thoughts. And then the other thing I actually wanted to circle back to was about where to ask for reviews. So we've had clients come to us saying, oh my God, we have like 300 reviews. We're like, well, where are they? Oh, well, you have to be registered on this platform in order to see them. Like, well, what about all the people who aren't in that platform? I can't remember the one, maybe it was House, or it was the music one, Ashley, with John Jay. But when you think about asking for reviews, like, should I ask on my Facebook or on my Google or on Thumbtack? Think about how visible is it, and do you need it to be visible first to boost your search ranking, or are all of your customers on this one platform, and all of your customers already have a login, and so you don't need to necessarily have your reviews be public. So think about how public are your reviews, because anywhere you get a review, you can then use it on your own marketing materials. You can create social content from it. You can add it to your website. But if you want your reviews to help you in search and get more traffic to your website, you need to leave it on a public, that review, you need to be asking for it on a public site like Google or even really Facebook. Although Facebook, you technically have to have a login for. But so Ashley, do you want to add anything to Fawn's question about how to make it easier for your customers to leave you a review?
No, I think what we're going to provide in a little bit will definitely be helpful too, and kind of take the work out of asking and giving reviews and receiving it. Yeah.
The one thing I was going to add, Julia, was, I think you brought up a really good point, which is, I think that could be a campaign in and of itself, whether that be even a direct to mail or direct email campaign to leave a comment. You can get pretty creative. You could even make a really kind of hyper-focused direct mail piece. I've seen that happen where somebody sends you a mint and there's a joke about a mint, and keep us fresh on our Google rankings. Leave a thing. So I think you can be cute with your customers based on your industry. But I think also, to your point, then the extension of that content. Yes, we want it to be on their Facebook page and on their Google and Bing for ranking when they're discovered, but also you can absolutely take those testimonials and use them in your marketing pitch, use them as that header as soon as somebody hits your website. So I think doubling and tripling down on that content and reusing it is important too.
Yeah, and even trying to get new customers, and if you're on an exploratory call with them, saying other businesses like you are saying this. So it's definitely helpful on both ends.
Awesome. All right, so we get a lot of questions about, well, which review should I respond to? So we've created this list, and it's an order of priority. So depending on how much time you have to respond and manage your reviews, start with number 1. And then if you have more time, do number 2. And if you have more time, do number 3. So your first piece of homework is to delegate. And it is possible, unless you don't have a team, to delegate this work and really think about what are the steps. We recommend you be as specific as possible when delegating, so that it's really easy to train new team members how to do this process. 5-star reviews, usually really easy to respond to. We recommend creating 4 to 6 or so standard responses to glowing reviews, and then you can copy and paste with a little bit of customization to add the customer's name, or sometimes you mention your business name or things like that. And do the same thing for negative reviews as well. Think about what are some basic templates I can create. Maybe it's not a copy and paste for a negative review, but there's some basic building blocks there that the person responding to the reviews can rely on, so they're not like looking at a blank page. So if you have a hard time coming up with responses, later this afternoon, we will email you our best 7 responses. And these are for positive reviews and negative reviews. So we really appreciate your time and attention. We want to make this as easy as possible. So we're giving you some of those building blocks to start responding to reviews. So we have another activity, no breakout room this time, just a few minutes to answer these questions. We'll give you 3 minutes and we'll turn off our video so you can turn off yours if it helps you concentrate. And then we'll call you back and I'll turn on our video in about 3 minutes. And I'll keep this screen on so that you can have these questions. So you have 3 minutes to answer these 4 questions. Welcome back, everyone. We hope you got some good thinking time. So we invite you to turn back on your video and re-engage with us. And we would love to hear from 1, maybe 2 folks about just briefly what their review management plan looks like, and what do you know is going to work really well, and what are the roadblocks that you're facing. So who would like to unmute themselves and share a little bit about the thoughts that came up for them during this activity?
I'll go.
Okay, go for it, John.
I just need to get more reviews. And to do that, I need to have more customers in order to do that. So that's my biggest issue right there. I'd love to have a problem of actually having to block time to go through all my reviews.
Maybe your block is to solicit reviews then.
Exactly.
Like, have I connected with every customer, even if it's been 6 months? Can I reconnect with them? Yeah, that's great. All right. Thanks for sharing, John. Would anybody else like to share?
I think kind of our current system is a bit piecemeal where we don't have a designated individual that's really taking on the task, and not a great communication where if things are getting done, certain reviews are getting responded to and others aren't. There's not a great communication when that is happening and when it is not. And then another roadblock is just time spent doing so. But I think, identifying it and blocking out time could alleviate that situation, and just kind of identifying one individual to take on that role and that task would be, kind of help that issue overall.
Those are great insights, Emily. We definitely have seen in our own work that systematizing our processes makes them less time consuming, and one person is responsible. It can really streamline the process. So those are great insights. Would anybody else like to share briefly before we move on? Okay, let's move on. Let's see. Oops. All right, we're bouncing around here. Okay. All right, so our 3 key takeaways for managing reviews are carving out time to respond to maybe all your reviews if you can, delegating the task, and then again and again, keeping those profiles updated. We can't say it enough. I don't think we have time for a quick break, so we're going to keep going and power through. And again, keep asking those questions. And now we'll dive into responding to positive reviews.
All right, so now that you have a taste on how to manage them, let's dive into responding to the positive ones. So positive reviews can keep you floating on air, feeling that you've succeeded in your mission as a brand and just feeling good. But after this moment of glory, what comes next? So once you receive that positive feedback, it is essential to establish guidelines for responding to positive reviews in order to engage with your customers and represent your brand. So things you want to think about is expressing gratitude. The person that left you this review invested their time and their energy into letting you know how much their service meant to them. So return that energetic investment and really show them that you care about them as a human being, and you want to respond to them and create that emotional connection too. Next, you want to customize your responses. So doing things like using the reviewer's first name in your response, and then slightly vary those responses rather than using the same exact words for all of your positive reviews. So by doing these things, you emphasize the respect for that reviewer's humanity and individuality, and also build that stronger client and brand connection. 3, you want to continue the conversation. So this includes receiving positive feedback that opens up the door to any type of additional value. So having a piece of content that might appeal to the customer based on this positive review can be something that you can continue the conversation about. So use this moment as a chance to offer them a call to action that may benefit them, somebody else, and encourages continued engagement with your brand. So doing things like, we're so glad that you enjoyed your meal with us and the experience. We invite you to come on back, next week when we have this really fun special going on, or something of that nature. And number 4, staying organized. So set a schedule to respond to these reviews, and then craft a list of varied responses. So having that list of varied responses to kind of pull up and then tailor it to each specific review will help you really save a lot of time. So just in the back of your mind, remember that engagement does drive loyalty. in all aspects of business. So replying to these reviews and creating that experience will really help continue to drive that loyalty. So now, were you gonna?
I was just gonna say, I'm feeling a little antsy about the breakout rooms, but let's just try it. So we'll give you about 3 minutes to craft a response to this review. Let's see if it works. Oh, I think I have to move everybody again. Are people moving? Or do I have to assign them to something? Oh dear.
I think everybody's assigned.
Yes.
And then Ashley and Julia, you should be able to see, I think on your screen too, you can join like Social Butterfly or Review Master, Ringmaster.
So do I have to click join?
Yeah, and then you have to get out of it, and I think you can. I just never, I never remember a time in the room, and then it's like you can leave as the host as well. I can also pull you back if you.
Okay. No, it looks like people are there. Oh no, wait. Let's see. Oh no, that's Erica. Okay.
Yeah, I think everybody's there other than Manchester office.
There's Manchester office and Manchester sales B. Those seem connected, but okay. So I think people just went automatically because there's just the 6 of us. Okay.
So why don't I
Oh
pop into those? Like right now, Brenda Jones is alone because Manchester office and Ashley should be in that group, but.
Oh, okay. So let's move her to something else so she's not totally alone.
So you'll have 3 groups coming back. And I can just pop in and pop out again. Should be able to.
Okay.
And on our end, Julia, our groups are all renamed for our notes.
Okay, thank you. And Ashley, I'm sorry, you and I were chatting privately about Fawn's questions and then I completely forgot to go back to them. So we can address those when we come back to this or at the very end. Perfect. Oh, Matt, I'm glad you're here for the tech support. Oh, I think, did Matt leave?
Oh yeah, he's popping
Just as
into
you
the
said,
room.
thanks for being here.
Yeah,
I think he
your
went
tech came
into-
down and then he disappears.
Yeah, he's
Looks
back.
like he's back. Matt, thank you so much for all your tech support. It's we think we know everything and then we're like obviously don't know everything.
Oh, and Zoom is one of those hard things where I would assume if you did it weekly and you facilitated groups and stuff, you'd get really good at it.
Yeah.
But you can't do breakout room until you have enough people on breakout, and you can't have that meeting again. So you have to burn
like
a
10
meeting.
friends just to practice.
Yeah, you can't even practice, right? And you can't even do it before. You can't say, in a way, you'd love Zoom to be having all breakout rooms with nobody in them, and then we could all hop in and hop out of them and see what it looked like while you were in them. So
that sounds like a great feature that they could offer is breakout room practice, like a demo where you can go in and there's like.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see, like they should, I'm sure I have to imagine since COVID, but like a host suite, right? Where we'll do demos for you. You could do, practice runs as hosts of meetings.
All right, I'm gonna bring everybody back.
Yep.
Closing the rooms. Oh, now they give it a minute. Okay. I actually get 4 minutes. We have the. And Ashley, I know it feels like we're behind, but oh no, we're actually totally caught up. We're only 3 minutes behind, and the last slides go so quickly. So we're right on track. Yeah. Welcome back. Fawn, and we were just chatting that we know you have a couple more questions that we haven't specifically answered. So
I'm okay.
On the radar.
No, that's it. It comes up when you're thinking and then it just goes away. And I'm sure it's all in the material we sent. So thank you for everything.
Sure. All right. People are coming back still a little bit. Tripadvisor, Tamer, all those folks have come back. Google Galore is coming back, and Review Ringmaster must be having an excellent conversation because they're all still in there. Okay. Oop, they're coming back now. Okay, welcome back, everyone. We hope you had some productive conversations. So just a couple minutes here. Who would like to share from Review Ringmaster? That was Berta, Brooke, Emily, Mary, and Olivia.
So we said basically that ultimately, you know, addressing the person by name is important, number one, and then number two, you know, thanking them for their kind words, keeping it short and sweet when it comes to a positive review. And, you know, I had mentioned pulling from kind of a pre-written list of kind of nice responses to positive reviews that you can kind of source from and edit accordingly.
Okay, wonderful. And did your group actually come up with a response that you wanted to share?
We did not actually write a full response. I think one of somebody had a short blurb. I don't know if they want to share what they had said.
Would anybody like to share their blurb that was in Emily's group?
Well, I think we said something like, our goal is happy, satisfied customers. Thanks so much for your kind words. So because it, you know, you met the friendly, you met the food, so forth. So that's what we did.
Wonderful. Okay, thanks very much. We like that you guys wanted to keep it short and sweet. That's always appreciated. Okay. And then from Google Galore, Anne, Brenda, Keith, Lori, would anybody like to share the response that you guys crafted?
We didn't actually draft a response. We kind of mirrored what the other group said, just the thank you for the kind words, not really using a cut and paste kind of response. Maybe mention something about menu changing and inviting them back for another experience, that kind of thing. But we didn't see the photo to draft a response, so we just kind of discussed how we could respond.
Okay. Okay, great. Thanks, Keith. Thanks for chiming in there.
Yep.
And then the last group, Tripadvisor Tamer, with Fawn and John and Sandy. Would any of you like to chime in with any thoughts about how you would respond to this review?
I'll just jump in. This is Sandy. And we thought Ashley did a great job of introducing this whole concept because she had a great answer during her presentation. And we just said that the only things we would add is about encouraging people to come back again and potentially introduce themselves to the staff when they come next time so we can personally thank them.
Okay, great. Thanks.
I'm wondering,
All
let me just add, and if you ever had time to go above and beyond, and it might be a little creepy, but what I've seen other companies do is actually go to John Smith's profile and find something unique about John, and then comment to that, reach out to him. If he was a Jets fan, sending him 2 tickets to a Jet, you know, like you can ratchet up, and the, you know, I think the richer the company, you could do things like that. But even if you saw that John Smith had an engagement photo last week, or had an anniversary he was celebrating, maybe you would also send him, you know, a coupon to come back to your restaurant for their anniversary. I think there's ways that you can really take these reviews and turn brand champions into them. But I think, you know, I think we're always stressed for time, but if you could always take it another level, not just responding to the review, but really figuring out who John Smith was, and then curating an experience for them coming back.
Yeah, if you have the time and resources, those are great ways to really build that relationship, because you know that guy is going to be a customer for life if you take that extra time to call out, hey, we actually noticed you were in town on your honeymoon. We hope you have a fantastic rest of your life with your loved one, or something like that. So thanks for chiming in there, Matt. All right, so let's move on. So any questions before we move on? All right, if you think of them, you can chime in while we're reading these 3 takeaways from responding to positive reviews. So customize your response, whether it's just the name or finding an interesting detail about that customer, or responding to a specific thing they mentioned. Continuing the conversation, using it as an opportunity to invite them back in, to tell a friend, continue that engagement and build that relationship. And then staying engaged with them builds loyalty. So it's really valuable for your business to keep the customers who've already experienced and love your business to come back for more, right? It's easier to sell to someone you've already sold to than to sell to someone who's totally new. So your customers are a really valuable source of future business. All right, so now that you've got a taste of responding to positive reviews, how do you respond to bad reviews, especially if it just hurts so much? So one bad thing a business owner never wants is a bad review, because it can feel really personal. It can make us want to run and hide. And how could someone not love what we're offering? Shock, betrayal, confusion can run through our minds and bodies. And sometimes it feels like, oh, my business is just going to tank, but the world isn't ending, and we have some strategies for you. So we're here to say that bad reviews are not the end of the world. They certainly aren't something you're ever going to look forward to, but the right response to a bad review can actually strengthen your business and help win over new customers. So here's the process that we recommend. So take time to understand the bad review. If you need it 24 hours to cool off, please take it. If you need to vent, find a sympathetic ear. Get to a place where you can reread the review from the customer perspective. Try to understand what went wrong with their interaction with your brand. Maybe you just caught them on a bad day, or maybe you guys were having a bad day. It does happen. Things happen and events are perceived differently by different people. So if you can get into their shoes, try to do that. Wait till you have calmed down and are feeling like you can respond rationally to hit publish. I think, was it Mark Twain, who was famous for writing these scathing letters, but then he never mailed them. But it's like he got it off his chest. So just make sure you don't hit publish, but it's okay to get it out. Then craft responses that are really ready to go. So responses to bad reviews are important. It should be thought out and very intentional. And above all, it should be professional, nothing snarky in there at all. Sometimes it's inappropriate to offer an apology, and a sincere one. So we had a client who, one of their servers was having a bad day, and they did have an off day, and they did reserve that bad review. It's okay to say, you know what, we were having an off day. This is not what we're known for. We really hope you'll come back and give us another try. So by owning up to that review, you're showing a lot of professionalism, and you're building confidence with those other customers that are new, that are reading the reviews and like, wow, they really took that in stride, and maybe even provide an explanation. So address the key issue in their review. You don't need to address every single thing, because that's just going to blow it up, right? When you get a bad review, the idea is to like contain. So address the key issue or maybe issues, and then let the other stuff go. So an example here is we heard about a bad review that an inn in New England received. And this inn is known for their extensive historical book collection. And the person who stayed with them was a little bit more used to a Marriott or Holiday Inn, where it's very, very consistent, very maybe even sterile, very different from this personality infused inn. And one of the comments that the reviewer had mentioned was that it was a little musty in the inn, and the innkeepers use this as an opportunity to showcase their extensive historical book collections. That, you know, usually the people who stay with us really love old books, and they appreciate the rusty patina and being in this space, because it does smell a little bit different. And if you're looking for something more like a Marriott, we wish you that you stay with them next time. So they did it in a way that really amplified how they're unique and why someone would choose to stay with them, rather than saying, we don't smell, we have cleaning every week. They really owned up to it as an asset of their business. So that's a great example of how to take a bad review in stride. It is often makes sense to provide an explanation. So short-staffed, right? Who isn't short-staffed due to COVID? You're definitely not the only one. It's completely okay to share and present this factually. Talk about how you're following up. So if this is applicable and their complaint was legitimate, and you are saying this you're seeing this as an opportunity to maybe shift how your business practices, you may want to let them know. So we have an example with a client of ours, the Bodhi Spa. If you're ever in Newport, Rhode Island, they have a fantastic day spa where you get some lovely contrast therapy, so hot pools, and then they have the cold plunge pool. And it's a very relaxing environment. There's like Zen music, and there's like a little trickly water fountain. And one of their patrons was really expecting this very relaxing experience. But at the same time, this patron was at the Bodhi Spa, a louder group of people who are celebrating, I think, a wedding or an engagement were there. And they were a little tipsy, they were a little chatty, and it was not relaxing and quiet. And so Bodhi Spa really owned up, like, you're right, we do really want you to have a very relaxing experience when you come. And we have a new sound policy where our team is trained to come in and shush people. I can't remember exactly how they said it, but they really took it in stride. And they did make this business decision to be identified not as the party spa, but as the really relaxing spa where you come to unwind and soothe your body. So it's a great example of how you could follow up to a review. And then personalizing your response. So don't copy and paste the same review for every bad message. If it's a really scathing review, you really want to think carefully about how can you respond and contain. So make sure the reviewer feels heard, but also don't open up new bits of conversation. One thing that we recommend is, depending on the intensity of the negative review, is to try to direct message them. So Matt mentioned like looking at somebody's profile. You can often direct message someone on some of these platforms and say, here is my phone number. I'm the owner. Please call me. I'll be available between 1 and 5. Wow, you're going to have a really tough phone call, but maybe nobody else will hear it, right? So if you can contain and take it offline, that's really important to managing these negative reviews. All right, any questions before we move on to our activity? All right, Ashley, I'll let you take it away.
All right, so we've responded to a positive review. Now we're going to give you about 3 minutes to respond to this negative review. So right here, RG says, no sound absorbing materials, extremely loud, party groups right next to people trying to dine, fish the size of a thick cell phone battery, good flatbread pesto, and excellent cinnamon ice cream, but never again. So jot down your thoughts and what you would say to this customer. We can turn off our videos again, and we'll bring you back in about 3 minutes, or let you know when 3 minutes is up.
And we're not going to do breakout rooms, so you just take 3 minutes on your own.
The review example is right there in the chat as well. I know it went missing. Oh, there we go.
All right, we are ready to reconvene. We're really short on time. Does anybody feel like they just have an amazing response that they want to share again?
You can leave them.
Who is that?
No, you're fine.
Okay. All right, let's keep moving along just in the interest of time. So here's an example of how this owner responded to the review. We see the reviewer did not add the name, so we would recommend personalizing that. We like that they started the conversation by pointing out the positive experience of the patron. They did call out that pesto and cinnamon ice cream. Then they apologize for the experience and acknowledge it could have been better. They share how they can help ensure a better experience, and again, inviting them back, especially since the patron did like a few things about it. So this response is wrapped up with a little bow using the real employee's name and thus creating a little bit of human connection here. So, and this could be a great learning experience for the restaurant. They can now implement in something in regards to the type of experience that diner wants. They could recommend, upstairs is our quieter room if you would like that. And that sets the expectation for the patrons and could possibly help them dodge a negative review in the future. All right, so our 3 key takeaways for responding to negative reviews: taking the time to cool off, offering the apology where appropriate, and then again, if applicable, show how you're following up. So let's review. We're just coming to our last 9 minutes, and we want to give some time back to Matt and Erica to share some upcoming events. So what we covered today are key takeaways from optimizing your Google, Tripadvisor, Facebook pages, and your Bing if you want to set yourself apart, because very few people do optimize their Bing. So it is a way you can stand out. And managing reviews, it really comes down to carving out that time and delegating the task. And it'll seem a lot easier if you can do those 2 things. Then responding to positive reviews. So again, customizing your responses, inviting them back in to come again. That engagement is going to drive repeat business. And taking time, cooling off to understand that bad review, offering an apology, sharing how you are following up. And believe we just have a little bit of time for questions. And Fawn also had a question that we wanted to circle back to about, should you offer an incentive? And we just wanted to, a lot of people do it, and it most likely is going to violate the terms of service and your agreement. So if you do it, be really careful. We would recommend not offering an incentive at first and trying to think of other ways where you can catch people. Either they have a free moment or they're just super jazzed. And so you can kind of capture that momentum and get them to leave a review. Ashley, did you want to chime in at all about incentivizing people to leave reviews?
Yeah, just be careful, because if that incentive's really nice, it can cause a lot of people to leave those reviews, and then you'll get flagged, which you don't want to do. And then none of those reviews will show, or only some of them will. So all that work, that's definitely not something that we recommend. Yeah, try other avenues first.
Yeah. Does anybody else have questions about anything we've covered today? Well, we would love to connect on LinkedIn. And if you do have a question that you want to ask us directly, feel free to reach out. We are always happy to talk about marketing. You can set up a call with us to chat if you'd like to on our contact page. And just one final thank you to Matt and Erica and the Chamber and Vasey for having us speak today. And thank you all so much for your attention and great questions. We really appreciate it. And Matt and Erica, I will turn it over to you.
Great. We love a presentation. We love a presentation when it ends before it even is supposed to, right? We can get you all on your work day. So as we've learned in the last 2 hours, why don't you head on over to the Chamber's Facebook page and Google listing and other things like that, leave a great review, or just shoot Erica and me a good note if you like what you saw today. We would love to do more deep dives like this for our membership. I think that's what we're asking for. You know, what we're hearing from our members is continued education where we can. Obviously, we're recording this too, so if you didn't catch everything, we'll have it up on YouTube in a couple of hours. Go back to it, review it, listen to it. But I did want to provide an opportunity for Erica. I send it over to you. I know we've got a couple great programming things coming up. It's spring, it's almost warm, it's almost sunny. So what do we have in store for members on this call? You're muted, Erica.
Let's do it this way. We got a few things for members and non-members. This night, the 19th of March, we are having a pub crawl in Bennington, which will be a lot of fun. It's going to start off at the Dutchman's Tavern, and we are going to hit different chamber members, the Village Garage, 421, Farm Road Brewery, and Ramontos, Madison's, and one other stop. So if you want to come out and join us, it should be a lot of fun. It kicks off at Dutchman's. April 6th starts our industry roundtables. So please, members, sign up for that. There'll be one a week in April, beginning with the hospitality industry. Then we're going to do services, nonprofit, and then retail and marketing. These are great ways to get together with other people in your sector and find out things that are working, things that aren't working, collaborate on different things. So we hope that you can join us for that. April 21st, our North Shire will be up there for the unveiling of the Shire's logo. So it's the logo launch party. It's going to be at SVAC. Hopefully you can join us. And Winter Homebrew. The 5th annual Winter Homebrew happening in Bennington. That's April 30th. We are, it's always a fun time. Amazing home brewers that share their craft with us. And we also engage with our local restaurant and food providers, and we're asking them to bring us their best soups, chilies,
Chowder.
Thank you. So, a lot of stuff coming up. Check the calendar at swvtchamber.com. And while we're talking about updating things, and I do have some of my members on here, please take a look at your listing on our website. Make sure that information is up to date so that the people that are stopping in to find you easily, know your new store hours if they have changed, contact information. So always good to refresh that every 3 months as well.
So the top 4 review sites you should be checking in on, which is your Chamber of Commerce too. And I know everybody on this call belongs to a Chamber of Commerce, maybe not ours, but if they do offer a profile listing, Erica knows the numbers on this. It gets hit up a lot. So if you don't have we're one of the first 2 sites that come on because we get so much traffic generated from all our members. So oftentimes when people are typing in the Village Garage, it'll either go to the website or it'll go to our website, which bounces them over to your website. So please, as Erica said, update that as well. Anything else, Erica? And we want to get people out of here.
I had one other thing I wanted to chime in with. So we are going to send you an email later today with our 7 favorite responses to positive and negative reviews. So look for that. And we'd love to take a little screenshot. So wave and just show us how much fun you had today. Thank you. Bye, everybody. Awesome. Anything else, Erica and Matt? Are we all set? Awesome.
Thank you, everybody, again.
Thank you so much. Have a great day. We'll see you online. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.